Tubers and Trolls, welcome back to Troll Nation. I'm Chris, and you know what? We've had a ton of HD remasters, and we've had a few remakes, most notably Resident Evil 2. We didn't just take a game, give it a fresh coat of paint like we've done in the past, and call it the remaster. This game got built from the ground up, with the original being the reference point. And I think Final Fantasy VII is going to be another great game. But with that being said, there's still a laundry list of games that I want to see not remastered, although I would take a remaster at this point, but a true remake from the ground up with the original game as the starting point. So stick around, my friends and I put a little list together, and these are games we think need to be remade. We're going to start off with an already classic game that still holds up, and that's Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes. The Twin Snakes was a GameCube remake of Metal Gear Solid 1, and although the GameCube did a pretty good job, it was still only 6 years after the original got remade, and now we're talking over a decade since then. We need a true 4K, 1080p, I don't care, remake of Metal Gear Solid 1. It's got incredible voice acting. The villains were memorable. They were incredible. I love the villains. I don't want to give anything away, but Psycho Mantis, I mean, there's just too many good ones. And then on top of that, if it got remade, it would be another Game of the Year contender for the second time. The first game was already a GOAT, and the second one would be another version of the same game with all the goods included. Next up is Silent Hill 2, another classic in the survival horror genre. Silent Hill has always kind of been the little brother to the much deserved hype and popular Resident Evil series, but much of that is because Silent Hill's really become kind of quiet and a little bit obsolete since Silent Hill 2. There's been multiple sequels and they're pretty good, but Resident Evil has just kept going. Arguably had one of the best games from Resident Evil just come out, and Silent Hill has not done enough. But at the time when this game came out, you were hard-pressed to find a better survival horror experience than Silent Hill 2. When I got this game, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I just got it sight unseen. It looked cool and I thought I'd pick it up, and it was an instant classic in my collection. They did do some remastered version for the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and it looks better, but it's still the same game with a little bit of, updated visuals. It doesn't look that great. A true remake akin to Resident Evil 2 with Silent Hill 2 would be amazing for this game and this franchise. We're going to move on to a game that came out for the Xbox, and that's Jade Empire. Now, Jade Empire is a hidden gem among gamers. This game was sandwiched between one of my personal favorite games in Knights of the Old Republic and then Mass Effect. This game was caught in the middle between two monsters at the time. But Jade Empire deserved just as much recognition as those two. It plays similar to many of the BioWare games. It's set in a Far East kingdom. It kind of has linear kind of gameplay. It feels open world, but it's fairly linear for the most part. But the game is just incredible. You live among humans and mystical beasts and creatures, and it's kind of the true black sheep of BioWare's history. It's a hidden gem for a reason. Gamers that have played this game absolutely love it. And it has one of the best plot twists of any game ever. Even compared to Knights of the Old Republic's plot twist, which was incredible. This is a game where if it was remade, it may not blow up the sales charts, but I believe it would still be a major success and let people relive an extremely good and almost forgotten game. So while I'm talking about it, speaking of Knights of the Old Republic, why not? Knights of the Old Republic is one of my favorite games, and I played it when it came out, so I have not had to go back and try to relive that game with all of the modern day graphics that I'm used to, because that's what makes those older games hard to go back to, is sometimes the graphics, you just can't get past it. Even though the storyline and stuff is amazing, you're still looking at this little blob on your screen. And not that it looks terrible, but it's been made for Android phones and you can play it now. But a true remake or a true remaster of Knights of the Old Republic for the Xbox One, the PC, the Switch would be incredible. But there's one thing holding it back, and that is Disney. So that's probably why we're not going to see any more Knights of the Old Republic games. I would even take the sequel, because that was a great game too. Not as good as the first, but still a good game. Legend of Dragoon, a game that I've never played, never touched, don't know anything about. But if you ask someone who's played it what they think, pull out your lunch, pull up a chair, and take a break, because they are going to rave about it. One of my very best friends, Domingo, this is one of his top 3 games of all time. World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy Tactics, and Legends of Dragoon. Quite a mixture. He said the storyline's incredible, the gameplay is amazing, and you have to play it to really appreciate it. But again, we're talking PS1 graphics. That doesn't ruin the game, but it sure takes you back a little bit, and you kind of take a step back, and sometimes it's hard to engage those games. So Legends of Dragoon is one that I think fans would definitely clamor to. It may not be the best seller, it may not sell millions and millions of copies, but I think that this is an RPG that has left a lasting impression on fans and all lucky gamers who've had a chance to experience it. And I think a remake would be just what the gaming gods need. Even though there has been some incredible Mario games over the years, Mario 64 still holds a near and dear place in my heart. And what you're seeing right here is a fan-made game, Mario 64, with the Unreal Engine. And it looks great. Now imagine that, with a full development team behind it. They can make Mario 64. Are they going to? Probably not. We have some incredible Mario games. I mean, you think of the NES Super Mario, Mario 3, Mario Odyssey, which I've been investing some time into. But Mario 64 holds a near and dear place to my heart. It might be my favorite Mario game. And because of that, I want to see a remake. I want to play this game on my Nintendo Switch in full HD graphics with updated visuals. And I'm not the only one. It's the true masterpiece in 3D platforming. It was one of the original 3D platformers that left the blueprint for other games to follow to be successful. So is it needed? Of course not. Nintendo doesn't need Mario 64. But would people buy it? Pretty sure they would. So, why not? Last up is actually 3 games, and that's the Mother Trilogy. Now, the Mother Trilogy may sound completely unfamiliar to you, but how does the word Earthbound sound? You ever heard of Earthbound for the Super Nintendo? Most gamers have, even if they haven't played it, and I'm one of them. It's on my bucket list, folks. I'm gonna play Earthbound. But the original Mother came out in 1989 for the Famicom, but never got a US release until the Wii U Virtual Console in 2015 under the name Earthbound Beginnings. The sequel, which we know is Earthbound, many people have played that, but it didn't sell well in the beginning. It really wasn't a great game in terms of its sales numbers. Now we know it as one of the masterpieces of RPGs, but at the time it didn't do great. And because of that, the third game, Mother 3, was released for the Game Boy Advance in Japan in 2006, and we've had some fans that have created or taken the ROM and put the English subtitles and given it English transcript so you can play it and enjoy it. But that's not the real way to play the game. It's the only way to play it right now, but we need a Mother Trilogy. Would anybody disagree? To get updated versions? And on this one, maybe we don't need a true remake where they build it from the ground up, but updated visuals, Mother 1, Mother 2, Mother 3, Earthbound 1, 2, 3. What do you guys think? I think it would be a huge seller, and it's one that would probably bypass all the sales numbers from the original 3. So, what do you guys think? Earthbound? That's going to do it for the video today, folks. Is there any games that you think are truly HD, remaster, remake worthy? I have a list of other games. This is probably part 1 of many. Is there games on here that I said that you think are absolute trash and you never want to play again? Maybe you hate Knights of the Old Republic. Probably not, but maybe you do. So let me know in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much for subscribing, being part of my channel. I truly appreciate it. But don't forget, keep trolling, keep rolling. We'll talk to you guys soon.